Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Iqmal Danial bin NAZRI. I am from the group CS2555C and I'm presenting today about my home network assignment for the subject ITT550. So, why actually study home networks? Well, because nowadays it is a very essential part of modern living because everyone is expected to have their own internet connection today. You simply cannot live without the internet. So home networks, uh, a well-designed one, is very important in terms of the performance, availability, security, and scalability, and also more. We will go through all this in the later sections. So, what about the studied house? It's a typical two-story Malaysian terraced house located in a suburban neighborhood. It has five bedrooms, three bathrooms, a kitchen, and a living room. So there is a total of six people living in the house, even including children, which nowadays even have their own devices, including PCs, laptops, and smartphones. So there is a total of 10 devices that must be connected to the internet. This includes two PCs, two laptops, and six smartphones. So, what is the ISP or Internet Service Provider used in the house? It is Telekom Malaysia Berhad, or also known as TM. The subscribed plan is the Unify Home 1 gigabit per second fiber internet plan, which amounts to 249 ringgit per month for the house. We start with the hierarchical network design and with the logical network design. So as we can see, ISP provides connection to the gateway device or modem inside of the house, and this device or modem connects to the R2 router via wired connection, provides the ISP connection, and R2 is connected to the R1 router wirelessly. So R1 is essentially a wireless repeater for the R2 wireless signals instead of receiving actual wired connection from the modem. So we can see that the core layer, which is consisted of the gateway device, it provides the primary connection to the ISP, whereas distribution and access layer is actually combined because R2 acts as both a distributor of ISP connection, which is to R1, while it also provides direct internet connectivity to end user devices alongside R1, of course. What about the physical network design? So this is the ground floor of the house. There is not a lot of networking matter to discuss here, but except there is one smartphone. Although the smartphones and laptops in this house, of course, all expected to be mobile and they can move around wherever they want. There is also R1 here that is wirelessly connected to R2 um, on the ground floor. So it functions basically as a wireless repeater of R2's wireless signals instead of being connected, as I've said before, to the modem. So this is the second floor. We can now see that there is a lot more devices, smartphones, PCs, and laptops. But of course, the laptops and smartphones are expected to be mobile and they can move everywhere around the house, except for the PCs, of course. So we can see that there is a modem here and it is connected to the ISP via fiber optic cable, which I will show you just after this, and it provides wired connection to R2. So therefore, R2 and R1 are primarily used for wireless internet connection for the end user devices, the PCs, laptops, and smartphones. However, we will see that there is actually one PC that is connected via wired Ethernet cable to R2. So this is where cabling comes in. Firstly, I said about the PC. I mentioned about the PC. So this is denoted by the yellow cable. That is a Cat5e Ethernet cable that is 9 meters long. So this connects the PC2 to R2 directly via wired connection. There is no other devices in this house that is using wired connection. So what about the green cable? The little small green cable. It is a Cat6 Ethernet cable that is 3 meters long. So it connects router 2 to the gateway device or the modem. And lastly, the purple cable denotes a fiber optic cable that is 20 meters long that connects the gateway device or modem to the outside ISP networking pole. This actually goes through a wall that is drilled, a small hole is drilled through the wall there inside the diagram to accommodate the fiber optic cable because it cannot flex as much as Ethernet cable. So that is one downside of fiber optic cable. But a benefit of fiber optic cable is that it is immune to electromagnetic interference. So when there is many connections made, like in the outside networking pole, signal losses do not occur compared to Ethernet cable. So these are the internet networking devices used in the home network design. So firstly, the ZTE ZXHN F620, it is a modem or gateway device. There is only one needed in this design. And the one GPON port, the only one GPON port, is used for the fiber optic connection to the ISP device outside. And there is a total of 4 gigabit Ethernet ports available, but one is already taken, remember, to connect to the router R2. So what is its main function in this design? It's for providing ISP connection to router R2. So what about the routers? What model are they? It's Fiber Home SR141Y. There is two of them in this house, and these are wireless routers, but they also have 3 gigabit Ethernet ports and one USB interface. But in terms of wireless capabilities, they support the 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz frequencies. So they function mainly to provide access layer connections and internet connectivity to end user devices, prominently by wireless instead of wired. So some custom configurations for the routers R2 and R1 that are made include WPA3 personal authentication. So a custom length is set, but however, this is the minimum WPA3 personal length. It is the 8 characters long password. It must contain at least one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, one number, and one special character. So this is very, very important for security to avoid the wireless network being accessed by unauthorized users. Another custom configuration is actually quality of service, or also known as QoS. So this is very important in prioritizing more critical and resource intensive applications. So mainly streaming like Netflix or HBO or YouTube or even TikTok and other social media, and especially real-time video meeting like Google Meet, Cisco WebEx, Microsoft Teams, and etc., and also online gaming, which requires actually very low latency and little to no packet losses, if at all, and more. So QoS is crucial for network performance, availability, and stability because it ensures that there is an allocated amount of bandwidth for these higher intensive applications. So every service, even the lower intensive services, can be executed and run normally and without any issues at all. So there are three suggestions for the current network upgrades for the home network design. Firstly is to use the switch for wired connection between the PCs, laptops, and routers. So this obviously improves performance via wired connection. Wired connection has faster speeds than wireless connections, even compared to Wi-Fi 6. This also increases scalability. So when more devices are connected via wired connection to routers, more wireless devices can be connected using the wireless LAN feature of the routers. So there are less interference and less issues of connectivity, and more devices can be added, of course. There is also a suggestion to use VPNs or virtual private networks in every end user devices in this house. So VPNs, they provide secure encrypted tunnels for user data transmission. So this substantially, of course, increases security and substantially decreases the risk of things like data theft, especially password and username theft. So these are the examples of VPNs, NordVPN, ExpressVPN, Surfshark. An example of a switch that I've said before is the TP-Link 8 or gigabit switch, which costs about 80 ringgit, which is not that expensive. And lastly, it's to regularly update routers firmware because it is observed that the occupants in this house do not really seem to care about routers firmware. So, so why do we use up-to-date firmware? Well, to ensure that we get the most latest update, so that the current vulnerabilities, known vulnerabilities, are patched. So this means that attackers are not able to use these weaknesses of the routers to exploit and gain unauthorized access and potentially steal data and among other attacks. So this of course leads to enhanced security and sometimes even better performance because sometimes updates make routers work better. So for the conclusion, a good and well-designed home network leads to higher network and application performance, leads to more network scalability, so more devices can be added, especially in the future. It ensures secure and protection for user data. So avoid their things like data stolen, data theft, and cybersecurity attacks. And lastly, it's essential for reliable and available internet connectivity. So everyone in the house can be connected to the internet simultaneously without any issues. So a good home network design is a good introduction to enterprise network designs in general. That's it for me. Thank you.